Have you ever looked back at a relationship, a friendship, or a season of your life and thought, why did I stay so long? Why did I ignore the red flags? Why do I keep people pleasing when I know I'm unhappy? And now, instead of just feeling hurt by what happened, you feel angry with yourself for the choices that you made. Well, today we're going to talk about how to move forward when you're carrying anger toward yourself for past decisions, especially people pleasing, overgiving, staying too long, or abandoning what's important to you to keep someone else comfortable. Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Crystal Hawkins, licensed professional counselor and licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor. And I'm here to talk about emotional wellness, relationship patterns, boundaries, healing, and learning how to move forward with more confidence and self compassion. When you look back and feel anger towards yourself, it may be because the version of you today can see things the past version of you could not fully see yet. Today, you may have more insight, more language for what you need to say, more maturity, more clarity. Maybe now you understand what emotional manipulation looks like. Maybe now you understand people pleasing. Maybe now you realize that silence, over explaining, over giving, or simply staying quiet to avoid conflict actually came at a cost. But the past version of you was making decisions with the tools, fear, beliefs, and emotional capacity you had at that time. That does not mean that every decision was healthy. It means you look at the decisions that you made as I made those decisions with the equipment and tools that I had at that time. I made the best decision that I could with what I had to go on at that time. Many people pleasing patterns come from fear, like fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of disappointing people, fear of being seen as selfish, fear that love will be withdrawn if you say no. So instead of asking, what do I need? Maybe you learn to ask, what will keep them happy? And over time, that leads to you putting your needs on the back burner, you forgetting what's important to you, your values. And when you finally wake up to that pattern, anger can rush in. You think, I should have known better. But a healthier question is, what was I afraid would happen if I chose myself? That question opens the door to healing. And let's talk briefly about turning the other cheek because some people use that phrase to pressure themselves into tolerating mistreatment. But that's not what it's about. Turning the other cheek does not mean that you're called to people please or ignore red flags. It doesn't mean that you are meant to stay in unhealthy dynamics or let people repeatedly harm you. You have to understand if God gave his only son, his best for you, his plan was not for you to be in an abusive or unhealthy situation. So, what can you do when you feel angry with yourself? Try the compassionate decision debrief. Take out a piece of paper and write one decision you regret, but do it in three parts. The first part is at the time I was trying to. Maybe you were trying to keep the relationship, avoid conflict, feel loved, keep the family together, stay safe, avoid being alone, prove your worth. Think about what you were trying to do. The second thing is what I know now is. This is where you name the lesson. Maybe you now know that love should not require abandoning what's important to you. Maybe you now know that keeping the peace is not the same as peace. Maybe you now know that someone being upset with your boundary does not automatically mean that your boundary is wrong. And then the third thing is you write down the next time I notice this pattern, I will practice. Now, this is where you get specific. Not, I'll never do that again, because that's too vague. Try something like, I will pause before saying yes. I will ask for time to think. I will tell the truth sooner. I will pay attention to how my body feels around this person. I will speak to myself like someone I am responsible for caring for. It helps move your brain from shame to learning. You're not rewriting the past. You're changing your relationship with the past so that it can stop controlling your future. Try this simple phrase this week. Practice saying, I can regret a decision without rejecting myself. Something that simple reminds you that healing doesn't mean you pretend it didn't happen. Healing means you tell the truth with compassion and take responsibility without cruelty and choose differently, one small step at a time. So this week, I want you to notice where self-blame shows up. And instead of asking, what is wrong with me? Try asking, what was I needing, fearing, or trying to protect back then? And what do I want to practice now? That's how you begin to move forward in a healthier way. Until we meet again, remember to fill your cup first and then pour into others. If this message encouraged you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And of course, share it with someone who could use a little encouragement today.